guys, it's Godbars here, the self-proclaimed hip-hop historian, and this is the 396th episode of my series, where I grab a vinyl from my collection, talk about why I love it, what influence it has, and what its place is in the grand scheme of hip-hop. So this was a vinyl I only managed to grab right after my last set of Golden Age classics, which means I've had it on deck for a good while now, and I'm glad I finally get to cross this dope LP off the list. The project I'm alluding to is titled The Cactus album, and it's the 1989 debut by the legendary group Third Base, an act consisting of rappers MC Serch and Pete Nice, who also doubled as producers on occasion, along with DJ Richie Rich behind the turntables. To say there's been a tumultuous relationship between the two lead MCs here would be an understatement. In fact, they had been bad-mouthing each other and refused to do anything together as Third Base, pretty much up until this last year, I believe, because even though I'm not positive on where they stand at this very moment, I do recall seeing MC Serch or some news outlet a few months back posting something about how they'd set aside their differences and reformed. And I believe even more recently I did see a clip of a reunion performance. And I hope things are still going well currently, because frankly I enjoy both of the albums these guys released, from the 1989 debut that we're discussing today to the 1991 follow-up, Derelicts of Dialect. However, MC Serch doesn't always get the respect he deserves in my opinion, and I think that's due in large part to the fact he kinda looks like my dad, where basically what I'm saying is he doesn't have the image you'd maybe expect from your average Golden Age rapper. But what a lot of these bigots tend to overlook is the fact that without Serch, there's a very good chance that we would have never had artists like Nas, Nonfiction, or MF Doom, who I'll get back to a little later on in this video. And that's still just the tip of the iceberg, as those are just some of the game-changing rappers and acts that he personally discovered and or signed. So I'm sure there's plenty of other legends that this pioneer helped out along the way that I'm just not aware of. Of course, it doesn't help that both Pete and Serch were traumatized from the events that transpired in California after they dissed MC Hammer, and in retaliation having a very real bounty placed on their heads. And I'll spare the details for that story, as that's one I really insist you listen to Serch tell himself, because he's done it in numerous interviews in the past, and he's a terrific storyteller, though the best example is definitely when he told it on Questlove Supreme, since when he attempted to tell it on Drink Champs, Nori's drunk ass would barely let him get a sentence in, and basically stepped all over the story. While the near-death experiences that transpired from the Hammer encounter cast a dark shadow on what had been an otherwise bright career up until that point, the LP I'm covering here actually happened before all of that. So as interesting as that story may be, it isn't particularly relevant to this review. I just wanted to bring it up to recommend the Questlove interview, since I promise you won't regret giving it a listen. I mentioned MF Doom a bit earlier, and the reason he's especially relevant to the Cactus album is back in the Zev Love X days, even before the first KMD album, he featured on the lead single The Gas Face, which still remains arguably the biggest song that Third Base ever produced, not only from the amazing cameo-filled music video, but also because all of the verses here are way ahead of their time. Pete Nice does his thing here as always, but this time around I want to specifically focus on my two favorite verses on this track, which come from Doom, aka Zev Love X, and MC Serch himself. The latter of whom kicks us off, rapping, "Black cat is bad luck, bad guys wear black. Must have been a white guy who started all that. Make the gas face for those little white lies, my expression to the mountainous blue eyes. Then form a face and shake my skull cap. Dismiss the myth that evil is not black, but opposite spectrum, this done by a red man. With horns on his head, laid down the ill plan. Got all his helpers, said, make it snappy. Tell all the people that their hair can't be nappy. Blonde and blue-eyed or dark-skinned heifer. Gee, a disease created by leprosy. Don't speak of bleach, bend them to right. Say it was night way before the light. Put aside spooks, Serch leaves a trace. I'll set him correct with the effect of the gas face. Finally, an extremely young yet already lyrically gifted Daniel Dumoulin takes the final verse and lays down what would be the first in a long line of flawless guest appearances. Coming in with, "A gas face can either be a smile or a smirk when appears a monkey wrench to work one's clockwork. Perkin his brim to the rim of my cup. Don't tempt me, you're empty, so fill her up. Is I'm talking coffee or cocoa, is you loco? Cash or credit for unleaded at Sunoco. Hey MD and third base is just ace in the hole, I mean soul, so make the gas face. Damn, if looks could kill. You look like your host was a ghost from your grill. But still, what's the new fad? To recollect? To our passing phase to facades to 80 deca. For my label reads hood, street might have a tattoo, don't pick any card or no rabbit from my hat. Never a magician, if I ever tricked him, oh shit, another gas-face victim." While Zeppelin X is the only featured artist to show up on the Cactus album, there were a number of producers who snapped on these progressive, forward-thinking instrumentals, and that roster would include Sam Seaver, Prince Paul, the Bomb Squad, as well as both Pete and Search themselves. When it comes to my 3 favorite songs overall here, I would probably have to go with the Gas Face, Step Into the AM, and Words of Wisdom 2. But as for honorable mentions, I definitely still want to recommend tracks like Sons of Third Base, Monty Hall, Oval Office, Soul in the Hole, Triple Stage Darkness, Words of Wisdom, Product of the Environment, The Cactus, Flipping Off the Wall Like Lucy Ball, and Brooklyn Queens. Thank you for watching my 396th video. Next up, we have a bit of a sleeper pick, so check in for that one. And if you enjoyed, be sure to like, subscribe, and let me know what your favorite moments are from this legendary debut. Don't forget to have a great day, and I'll see you next time, okay? Alright.